What's up, guys?
Hey.
How are y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Burn the Ship. Burn the Ship is a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to go all in, and let's see how we can help y'all.
Okay.
That's what the whole thing is. So you guys are, we are Group X. We are Group X, so that's Exercise X, not Generation X.
Right. EX.
Not the X-Men, but Exercise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Jennifer is the marketing person, and David is the CEO and owner, correct?
That's correct.
Tell me how you started. What was the idea? Is this been your dream your whole life, or when we come up with it?
I would say yes to all of the above.
There you go.
But it's a model and something that I've been involved with many years and for many years. It's something that was always a side gig. I had a professional career with a very large, I would say, international company, and on the side I taught classes and was involved in the fitness industry, and I quickly saw that there's something to this whole group exercise thing, and it probably over 18 years ago, it was a thought that I just see that there are a lot more people that are enjoying and getting better results when they're in a group, as opposed to the few that may know what they're doing on their own, and it's not very. It's hard to stay inspired doing something all by yourself.
It's an energy thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it
energy
is. It's all about
around
energy,
people.
yeah.
Around people. So to fast forward, I just decided to take the leap. I had an opportunity to, for what I had saved and done over 24 years at this company, to say, well, it's time to take a dive and put this all together and see what we can do to help more people become healthier.
What was the other company?
The company I was with, Allstate Insurance.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I was in
sold insurance.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't sell, but I used to instruct and teach people how to do that. And I was in a variety of different leadership roles over the 24 years.
Cool.
Lived in 4 or 5 different states and ended up in sales education.
So you worked for Allstate Corporate?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I was not an agent, but people would come through us in education and sales training, and that's what we would do. And I was helping people put together their own business. And I thought, well, I'm learning a lot myself with this. I'm going to put this to to good use and start my own.
And all different kind of businesses too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. What was the first? I'm trying to think group exercise wise. What was that first one that had the stations, and it was mostly female, but. And it was years ago. It had to have been in like the early 90s. That's the first one I remember anyways.
Like Jazzercise?
I think even before that. It was like I can't remember what hips or turns or...
Well, there's been so many... Curves.
Curves, yeah.
Now, even before Curves.
That's pretty old though, right?
That Curves was... That goes back a ways. But even think about the Jane Fonda days where they were doing step. That was a group.
Exercise.
Richard Simmons, but way back then. I mean, in Jazzercise, that was group exercise training. Now, back then, that didn't incorporate maybe some of the resistance part of it. Mm-hmm. And then that kind of evolved. And then, like you said, you had Curves, which was a niche. Mm-hmm. And actually, Curves was probably where the boutique style actually first was initiated, at least from a global standpoint in the U.S.
Yeah, and there was no kind of equipment. It's probably low entry, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like you could get in there and you didn't have to have the crazy rowing machines and all this.
Right.
And
I think it was like maybe 6 or 7 stations, a very small place, and you would just go from one to the other. And for I guess a variety of reasons, that model didn't quite stick. And then some other models came in, for example, Orange Theory, which our model is actually based off of theirs. Mm-hmm. It's group exercise, except for us, we offer more than just one thing. We have like 13 other things that you can do, meaning we call it modalities or exercise programs.
Right.
So we got 13, 14 different classes you can do.
It's
Same
all
model,
group. All group. So I can't go in there by myself.
Well, I say you can't, but, we had to pivot. Because of COVID and the pandemic. So
y'all had to pivot because of COVID?
I tell people all the time that when we were putting together our business model, we literally went A through Z, right? And we're checking off everything. We got to P, and we thought that stood for payroll. Yeah. We didn't realize it stood for pandemic. Hey, make sure you have a pandemic plan. That we didn't have that. But anyway, we did some virtual stuff. We have a couple of we've got access to some apps that a developer has. We sent that out, and we would allow people to come in and actually watch on a monitor, follow along, and do the exercise in the studio. But we're primarily group exercise.
But you started this like like a couple of months before, right? If I remember right.
We wanted to start January 2020. There were some construction delays, and then all of a sudden, March hit.
Yeah.
And we all know about March
And you
2020.
opened right then, right?
We were going to open, but then there were some more delays, and then we got to June and July and said, well, we've got to do it.
Sure.
We're paying rent.
Right.
We've got to do something. And we literally had maybe 2 or 3, 5 pre-sale.
Right.
So we've grown from that point. So it pretty much organically up to where we are now. But we officially opened July 2nd, 2020.
One of the first businesses I opened in 2004, I was on my way in a U-Haul to Jacksonville to open my office, and it was one of the first hurricanes. 2004 had like a bunch of hurricanes, and I was driving in on 75 to get on I-10, and everybody in Florida was going the other way.
It should have been a sign, right?
And everything, well, yeah, I mean, really, I'm like, yeah, y'all are leaving, I'm coming in, but in actuality, yeah, it was a sign because, no businesses were open for because it was like one hurricane, and then, hey, there's another one 4 minutes coming. So they kept their offices boarded and very limited door knocking experiences there. So it was like 2 months.
Yeah.
And I'm paying rent, and I'm 24 years old, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
But I made it through, and you just got to keep pushing.
Yeah, you do. And, it's, I obviously knew right away that Jennifer was going to be our marketing person because I said, there's a pandemic. Are we crazy for doing this? Because it's July 2nd. We hadn't even had a grand opening. That came a little bit later because we weren't really ready for it. And I said, you sure we're going to be able to do this? She says, yeah, we got this. We got this. She was very calm about it. And, we've had to put together a lot of plans. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And, we,
your hair is on fire right now. No, it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, just do this. It'll be all right. She doesn't use the hair thing with me for obvious reasons. Anyway, but, we're proud of the fact that we went from 0 memberships at one point in time to about 275 memberships, more
That's
people
awesome.
with memberships. So, we've been able to do that strategically, but we've been also very blessed and a little bit of luck also. Someone's looking out for us, but it's been a lot of hard work, but we've made it to this point, so we're certainly not going to give up now.
What do you feel like has you become an expert in this year and a half? Like, what is that? What's one thing that you would say?
I would say to be willing, and I've learned to be able to take in all different perspectives and have the willingness to stick with your core competency, but also be able to pivot wherever you need to and sometimes try things. There's a lot of things we look back and go, that didn't work out very well.
No, it sucked, yeah. I do that a lot.
That didn't work. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but it just didn't work out very well. And there's some things that you go, we didn't really anticipate that was going to work out as well as it did.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you learn from that because, even our demographic, we're still pretty solid around our demographic, but the age is higher than what we initially thought it would be.
Right.
And then, after studying that, now we kind of know why, and we're getting to our core demographic a little bit more. But
what you wanted.
I would say we just need to, you always need to be willing to learn new things and accept things that maybe you didn't know before.
Right. I'll tell you, man, anytime something goes really bad in here, I just blame it on Tristan. Yeah. I blame it on Tristan or one of the guys, and I'm like,
maybe we'll bring him on part-time, and then if something goes wrong, we can blame Tristan. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, it's in his title. It's something in his title. I pass that title around weekly. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I'm okay owning up to a bad mess up, though. I really am. Yeah. I'm like, God, that sucked.
Yeah.
Like, that was awful.
Well, Jennifer's heard me say that. Like, at the time in my head, it seemed like a good idea.
Sure.
But it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
But we're pretty good. I would have to give us a little bit of a pat on the back to be able to adjust.
If your doors are open and you're gaining business in an environment like this, get out of here. Yes, it's awesome.
You know what our key is, as I think about that more and more, it's being responsive to what our customers and our members are saying that they want collectively.
Yeah.
You can't please every single person, but we do listen, and we do, and we count on them to help us make decisions on what we should do from a business perspective. And I think that's worked out well.
That's awesome. Jennifer, what have you learned in the last year more than anything?
I would say the same thing as David, that you have to listen to people, what they really want, instead of sticking to this was our plan, we're going to go down this path. We had to, especially with COVID, we had to definitely take some left turns and some swerves around some things, but we figured it out slowly but surely.
That's awesome. And I felt like, because, you know, we didn't leave. Our operations people left in COVID, and they were gone for 6-7 weeks. But me and my sales guy stayed in the office, you know, the entire time. There's nobody in this complex that was here except us. We were throwing cornhole in the parking lot. We had a grill in the middle of the parking lot throwing cornhole. Yeah. And like Fridays, I'm like, hey, you guys want to go play cornhole? And we would, because we were always so different for us. We were in the office. I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna do this, and then I'll order in. We had a PlayStation, you know, playing PlayStation at lunch.
Yeah.
You know, like Friday afternoon, at like 3:00, I opened a beer, and my guys were like, what are you doing? I was like, dude, it's COVID, man. Anything goes now, man. Let's drink a beer.
And I'm sure you had to make a lot of sacrifices during that time, even last year. Like with certain things, and I know we did, and Jennifer does, and I do. If you're not willing to make those sacrifices, it probably isn't going to work. You know, an example for us, you know, we've got group fitness classes, and we've got 2 people,
sure,
an instructor. Economically, you can't keep doing that.
Nah.
At some point in time. So you have to make some changes, but you have to be willing to make that sacrifice,
right,
to build it, because, you know, and there's it's a fine line,
sure,
you know, because at some point in time you have to have it so that people see that you have it, but then you got to make a decision: do you keep it? But we kept with it, kept looking at schedules, kept doing things, that making some sacrifices.
That's it.
You know, we make a lot. You get up at 4:15 in the morning, and sometimes you don't get home until 9 at night. Now we are closed on Sunday, so we always knew we had that day of rest.
Yeah.
To re-energize, but
they got that from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, we did.
Yeah,
we did.
Chick-fil-A.
They seemed like they were doing pretty good with it.
They were doing. They did. They never stopped making chicken sandwiches, did they? They were ready. They were ready for this more than anybody was, really. I mean, to be honest with you, they're building different stuff to get more people in there and closing down the thing. But I felt like I was telling my guys, because like I told you, we broke sales records, you know, May, June, and July, and I came in like after the second month, and I was like, you know, I realized that why we're doing so well, and they're like, because we're doing this and this. I was like, no, it's way more simple. I was like, we're happy. Like, we're having fun. And it's like, and people are stressed out right now, and they're talking to you on the phone, and you're happy. I said, they want to go with somebody that's really happy.
That's a good point,
and being excited. So it doesn't, obviously it does matter, and it's not, you can't withstand that one trainer and one person. But if the trainer's really happy and excited, and the other person has fun, then she goes and tells, like, look, this is a really good outlet of my day during COVID, and then you get more and more people. So it's really just putting a smile on your face, and if it's genuine, even better.
That's huge. And Jennifer got off easy when you asked her that question about what did she learn. She said, well, kind of what he said, so I'm not going to let her off quite that easy.
Okay, well, get it.
So if we think about, our July was the best month that we ever had in sales. And July is traditionally the worst month in sales for the fitness industry, because people on vacation. Sure. Summer, they're out, they're doing everything other than that.
25% of your customers are gone.
Yeah. So right there, and so people don't use it as much. So what was our number one source when we look at where people came from in July? Referrals.
Yes.
And they come from other happy members.
That's right.
And happy instructors. An excellent point. Because, we looked at the beginning of August and thought, how the hell did that happen? And then when we look at all the members that came in and the classes that they took, and it was just working really well. So that's exactly right. If you can, and we're in a business where we are helping people move and feel better, but they come in and they're relatively happy, but they leave happier.
Sure.
That they did something.
What's your address? Where are you located? You said we're in a business. Where is the business located?
763 Whitlock Avenue. We're in Marietta.
So
Marietta, Georgia.
You're a few miles from the square.
We're probably a mile and a half.
Mile and a half from the square.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and really that's just so much traffic going out there. What's the count?
30,000 cars are whipping by there every day. And that was attractive to us when we first, were looking into this. Like, that's some pretty good traffic. And there's good, entry and exit with where we are. We're in between a Goodwill and a Dollar Tree. And so we're right smack, literally in between. So, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts in front of us. And so if you're sitting in their drive-through and you're waiting for your stuff, you're literally looking at our front door. So
I know where you are, yeah. Across the street from the liquor store, correct? Is that right?
Very close
kind
to
of
that.
close
Yeah.
to that. Close to that.
I got a really good idea. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what
We're going to write that.
do you say when I do this? What do you say? I got a really good idea. He always goes. He goes. Well, I'm about to start working more hours. You know? I think that you should get what y'all's like mascot. Do you have like a mascot?
We don't have a mascot, but we've got a tagline.
What's the tagline?
Move better, feel better, live better.
Okay, so here's what I want. Here's what you should do.
All right.
Get like old school like wristbands and there's like 80s style. You know, think like Madonna in the 80s wristbands, but really neon colors on the head too.
Headband too.
Yeah, and get one of those signs that has your thing and let her get on Whitlock and be spinning that sign.
Spin that. All right.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
You might be pretty good at that too. Now that you mention it, it's such a good idea.
I could use it, and it would be really good exercise, right?
Yeah, we're both probably thinking of a member who would love to go out and do that, who already has wristbands and a headband.
There you go.
And we can put him out there. He'd probably love it.
I think so.
Anything to attract him, right?
I mean, it's got to work, right? Because like so many people do it.
Yeah, well, it's doing something. It gets the attention.
Sure.
Because those 30,000 cars, many of them are whipping right by. So
sure.
Look, hey, I like the idea.
I mean, I just thought when it first came about, I thought it was ridiculous. Like as a business person, I'm like, that dude is spinning that thing. First off, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? And then it can't be that great. Like you can't be getting that much, right? Yeah. I mean, you got to pay that guy $7 an hour. And, you don't get that much off of taxes. It's always the taxes people, right?
Right?
It's always the taxes people that are doing it. But it's gotta work because they keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
That's it. Yeah. I guess you do it enough, people, it'll work, right?
Yeah. Well, there's an intersection right there.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. There's an intersection, so...
I don't know why I'm getting volunteered
No.
for this.
You might be hard pressed to make her do that. I don't know if that's going to work.
No, he works for me. Do that. What's next? I thought you guys were going to have a place, and this probably because of COVID you didn't, but over here by Target. That was a plan at first.
That was a plan, literally right next door between Target and that Party America.
City, yeah. Party America.
City, something like
Party
that.
America, yeah.
Great space. We looked at it. Perfect. Ideal. And then we were also looking at Whitlock, but Whitlock was less expensive per foot. And, we initially were fired up. We thought, well, maybe we can do two of them. And then again, COVID kind of put a nix on that plan. But yeah, this was the only reason we didn't. It was just a little cost prohibitive at the time. And so we decided, we went with the Whitlock because it was local, the management company. And we thought, there's some perks to that, local versus corporate that's in a different. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but anyway, it was a better per square foot.
Well, it's a business decision at the end. So, like, is there enough people to go to Target and go to right there in that area that will give you eyeballs on your place?
Yeah.
Right. So you don't know that until you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
it seemed good. There's a lot of, obviously a lot of cars going to Target. This is a high traffic area, but, Target, from a demographic standpoint, it's a sweet spot for us.
Right.
The people that would go there based on our studies and our research. But we wanted more of the traffic that would be going, especially, you mentioned the square. That was huge to us. Because people were going to the square or coming from the square.
I would feel like your initial demographic that you wanted probably made more sense at Whitlock, too.
Yeah, because we got a high school there, Marietta City Schools. I mean, there's 13 schools within a 10-mile radius. And in our business, people, and you might be the same way, I don't know, but people typically aren't willing to go more than 15 or 20 minutes to go to a gym, fitness, studio, whatever. Oh,
I would think that they won't. It has to be on the road they're going from home to work on. Right?
They're not going to go. Definitely not going to go more than 15, 20 at the top end, just to go do that. If they're on their way home or on their way to work or whatever the case is, that might work. But we do have some folks coming from Hiram. It's a compliment to us, and Hiram is 20, 25 miles or minutes away.
20 minutes for sure.
That's not bad. I mean, we've got people in Dallas, Paulding County, a few. Most are, though, by far. Our zip code is Marietta, and Powder Springs, a little bit of Ackworth, some Kennesaw. So
that's great. But I just think, like, yeah, you're definitely going to get 80% of your people on that road that's going from work to.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, no
You
doubt,
know?
no doubt.
But
no doubt.
what would really push that over the edge is the spinny guy thing in the road.
If that's going to be the game changer, then we'll do
doing
it.
it.
It's a genius.
We're doing it.
Genius. What's next? Are you getting to a certain point in membership and then going, hey, I'm going to open the second one? Franchising. What's next?
Franchising.
Yes.
Right now, we're actually we're getting ready to talk to some more people about capital investments. We are a corporation, and so we figured out a plan for people that are interested in investing. We're not looking for a lot of money. The franchise fee, or I say fee, but to develop a franchise, about $50,000. But that is more. It's
That's
better.
cheap.
Yeah, and it's a better strategy.
$50,000 is cheap.
Well, compared to trying to start another corporate store, I mean, that's going to be hundreds of thousands.
Sure.
So the franchise, and we've been told by franchise development companies that we've got a pretty attractive business model when you look at similar businesses, whether it be Orange Theory or even Workout Anytimes and places like that. He said that, you've got a model that you can replicate that people are going to find attractive. So franchising is what we're doing, what we want to do now. We have a person who's really interested in franchising. We thought it was going to be a 2 or 3 year thing. We've been in business for a year. We've learned a heck of a lot. We've got our operations manual. I don't know if we're a fine, well-oiled machine, but we're operating pretty efficiently now. So we can start because there could be a turnkey operation for somebody. Because we know what it would take, how it should look, and now it's time for us to expand the brand.
I've learned a lot about franchising this year. I didn't know a lot about the actual franchising model. I knew what franchising was, and I knew because I walked into so many businesses with credit card processing that I'm a franchise, I do this, and
Right.
franchises are all different. So, some of them you have to use credit card processing, and some of them you don't. Some of them you pick all your vendors. Some of them you don't. They force you to do that, and it could be good. It could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But we had a lady on here, and she's a investment firm, and the other side is franchising, and they're totally in the food industry. They don't do any. But we had another franchise guy on here that was not just in the food industry. He was more of a broker, maybe somebody you want to talk to that would broker it out for you.
Yeah.
But lots of weird laws in franchising.
Yeah.
Like you can't ink a paper franchise like I'm going to sell to you right now. So it's a weird concept for a salesperson to go, I want to sign this person up. You sign right here, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't do that.
No.
It's like a 2-week cool off period to where you can't sign that paper because I will need to give you a chance to think about it. Yeah. How trashy is that business for that law to have to be made, right?
Well, I guess so many people maybe were either taken advantage of or just, that had to be rough. Of course. Because it's called a FDD, financial or a franchise disclosure document.
That's right.
It's legal. I mean, it's serious.
Yes.
It's going through... the U.S. government,
FTC, Federal Trade Commission.
Mm-hmm. So it's serious. And I had no idea. So I'm going on Amazon and I'm going franchising for dummies because I'm like I had no idea all this stuff, and that's how we started to learn about it. But it's probably strategically the best way for us to grow our brand.
I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe
that's what we're looking to do. We hope to have another one up. Early 2022.
But I would advise anybody that's wanting to do that for their business to get a really good franchising lawyer because it's too much. Man.
Oh, it's way
It's way too much.
And that's what the $50,000 costs you to get that. Sure. However, the good thing is as a franchisor, you get franchisees and you can help recoup that cost, put it back into marketing. And growing those franchisees, which is the whole point.
What's the roundabout to actually put one of these together without the franchise fee to you?
Probably about 150.
150 G's will get you set up to run work.
And that's not all initial. That's going to be probably over the year. But because some of the variables would be, how much are you paying for rent? But all the other, we've got it down to, it's probably about 150 grand. So we'd want to see someone that's got capital or access to capital of probably 175 to 200, because, who knows what can happen. We've learned that. So, and, a person's got to be willing to not take much of a salary themselves.
Sure.
And that's where we add another 25, 50 grand. So you'd be very set between 175 and 200,000 for, probably about a year and a half to 2 years.
That's right. I think that that's when people don't understand when opening a business is you can't write yourself checks at first, and you think you can, but you gotta. I got really good at eating old spaghetti and ham sandwiches.
Yeah, you just
lots of them.
Especially when you think about the hours that you're probably working and putting in.
Yeah.
First you're going to be working in your business, and at some point in time, there's got to be a plan to work on your business.
Mm-hmm.
But what maybe a lot of people don't realize, you got to be in it at first.
For sure.
And, you never know what's going to happen. And we've been in it for a little over a year, and we're working on it now, which is good because, like I said, we've experienced some growth.
Well, the hat's changed. So you're working in it. So you have the own it and the in it hat on.
Yeah.
In both of them.
Yeah.
So, but I tell people that, if you're a mechanic and you want to open a mechanic shop, right when you open the doors and you do that, you're not a mechanic anymore, really. Right. You're a business owner.
Yep.
Now, you might still work on cars, and you probably should still work on cars.
A little bit.
For a while. But if you're still working on cars in 2 and 3 years, that's not good.
Right. No, exactly.
You're not doing your job.
Right.
Your job is to expand and get bigger. Now, it's okay if somebody wants to do that. And like, this is how big I want to get. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But in my mind as an entrepreneur, a lady calls me and says, "Hey, I need you to come fix my machine." I'm like, "I'll send somebody over there." When we want you, I'm like, I have to send somebody over there,
right,
to do it.
Well, and it's a different skill set, right?
And frankly, it's been so long. I'm like, they can do it in like 20 minutes. It takes me an hour to do
right.
it.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's a totally different skill set.
Yeah.
I would. We both still teach classes, but we can't dominate it because that means that we're not doing the thing that's our vision and our mission.
Sure.
Because I don't care who you are, you got 24 hours a day, and hopefully you're sleeping 6 to 8 of them, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
if you're on Mars, you have 24 and a half hours a day.
I've never been there.
Or it's like 23 and a half. Is it less or more, Tristan? We did this on Monday one time. I think it's a little more.
Okay.
But if you're Mars, like a half an hour more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well, maybe there's something to that.
When you live on Mars, you got a little more time.
It's hot though, isn't it? Isn't it pretty hot there?
I think so.
Of course, it's getting warmer.
Yeah, but that's
here,
good for your sweating and good for your body, right?
Right.
It's good for your body. What is it?
24 and 30 minutes.
Yeah, 24 and 30 minutes. That's it.
All right.
So, Martian time.
There we go.
Save that for the future.
Well, that's just a little tidbit for you guys.
Thank you.
That's what that is.
That's why you.
I knew this was going to be worth it.
You're welcome.
Trivia.
I really appreciate y'all coming on.
Hey, thank you.
How can we get a hold of you? Email addresses, website. You told me your address, but say it again.
Yes, we are at 763 Whitlock Avenue, Southwest, and we're in Marietta. And we're about a mile and a half from Marietta Square. You can find us, We Are Group X. You don't even have to put www in front of it anymore.
No.
Just We Are Group X, WE.
Which means World Wide Web. Now there's easier.
GROUPEX.com. Where else can they? We have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. We're all over that same handle. We'll get you that. You can even go on the website. There's a little bubble that pops up, says you want to chat with us, and you can send a chat. We'll get to you quickly.
Got the bots working?
The bots working.
Bots are working.
Yep.
You're the bot.
We are the bots.
We are the bots.
You got to run in because you're spinning the sign and get the bot going.
So are there any other ways that they can reach us that I'm missing?
Email.
Email, yes.
Yeah. What's the email?
Either David or Jennifer at wearegroupx.com.
It's we, the letter R.
Yes.
Group
EX.
EX.com.
Yes.
That's
and
great.
if you want to reach us by phone, there's even a bot that will help us with that. You can choose to hit 1 for a voicemail or hit 2 for a text or whatever the case is. And that is 678-540-5098.
And guys, if you want to look like me, don't go to the gym. If you want to look like David, go to his gym. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody be kind to each other out there.